Axie Infinity, play to earn, the future of work in Africa. So we were talking a lot about the Philippines, touch on Africa. Kids often get asked, what do you want to do when you grow up? Those some respond with lots of conviction. Their answers tend to have low predictive value. In fact, according to a study done with World Economic Forum, 65% of students entering primary school today will end up working jobs that do not exist yet. I think that's fascinating. I was listening to somebody that was talking about kind of what do you want to be when you grow up, or even, when you go to college, sometimes the world is so cutting edge that it can't even predict, and it doesn't even know the jobs out there. So you can't even go to school for the thing you're going to do yet. You're just going to fall into it because it's better than the thing that you want to be doing. You go to school for, hopefully anyways. Technological advancements have not only broadened the spectrum of possible jobs, they're also challenging the very idea of 9 to 5. As legendary Bill Gurnley says, driving with Uber reverses the way we have been trained to think about labor. Instead of making labor conform to management's notion of a job, Uber hands control to the worker, which is obviously there's some benefits there. It's flexible. Beyond offering jobs greater flexibility, control their schedules, the internet is increasingly blurring the line between work and play. I love the idea of like play to earn, play to whatever. And it talks about Twitch. I love the idea of Twitch. It's pay to entertain, play to earn basically with viewers. It's they're paying you for fun, entertainment. You just have to be a good source of entertainment at the end of the day, right? And the highest competition, the best ones win. Twitch is the quintessential example of this phenomenon. Gamers can earn up to 7 figures by simply broadcasting themselves to play video games. And you have to have a personality. You got to be interesting. I want to talk about like the naked Twitch streamers, but I'm not going to go there. Gamers can earn up to 7 figures by simply broadcasting themselves to video games. And I would like to throw a small counterpoint that's not the only reason that some people watch them, but we'll leave it at that. And more recently, perhaps more fascinating instance of this phenomenon is hit play to earn game Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity is block chase based game. We talked about all this already. But in CoinDesk 2021, average Infinity player could earn the Love Potion, which was roughly $800 at the time. It's seen a massive explosion from 30,000 daily active users from April 21 to 1 million in August, which most players coming from emerging markets such as Philippines, Venezuela, and Brazil. In fact, scores of Filipinos quit their jobs. We already talked about that. To play this for better earnings. So that's what's crazy. 3 times of what they made at their real jobs. Like, that's wild. And I have a little breakdown here. Where does the money come from? Who pays the players? Understand this. You understand the economics of the game.
I was listening because I'm just thinking about Veve the whole time you're talking about right now. Everything you're saying is like Veve. Like, instead of saying the other Axiom, every time we say Axiom, I say Veve.
New players have to purchase 3 Axies from one seller in order to play the game. That's interesting. Sellers are players who either previously bought Axies or bred through Axies. That's a cool game mechanic. What people can breed new Axies, you may ask? Yes, the game allows anyone with 2 Axies to breed new ones. However, in order to do that, you have to pay some currency and win other battles against other players, complete quests in the game. As more players join the game, sellers are forced to breed new Axies to fill in the demand. I'm liking this. This is a cool game mechanic. As last month, it now costs 600 SLP to 10,000 SLP to breed a new Axie, since there's only way to get one is either earn it during gameplay or to buy it from someone who earned while playing. Breeders have no choice but to purchase some from other players. This is what ultimately drives demand and makes it interchangeable for fiat. The net result of the system of rewards and incentives is something that resembles work but is still a game. This is so cool. Just the concept. Like I said, I haven't played the game. I watched some people play it, but I just love the game mechanics. Axie Infinity represents a new blockchain embedded business model where game creators share their revenues with players. Every dollar that players earn is one that could have gone straight to the pockets of in-game developers, rather than charging for access to displaying ads or in-game purchases and keeping all the profits to themselves. Actually, developers decided to share the profits with players that hope will drive adoption. I think this is something that I've heard discussed on for AAA games, or instead of just making like loot boxes and items that people can have in the game only one time, they want to start making NFTs and stuff so people can actually retain some value and trade it and sell it and make some money, right? And I think this is a really, really smart way to build a game. Some may argue that the game economics are not sustainable. The strategy so far seems to be working. 60% of players found about Axie from a friend or family member in the game is on track to generate over $1 billion in 2021. In the 2016 white paper, players for hire gaming and the future low skill work made two remarkably prescient predictions. Within 5 years, some game companies will be paying players in some way to play their games. This will be a form of small points-based incentives that can be liquidated in the form of purchasing power. Number two, within 10 years, paying for players will become standard revenue and business model in the game industry. Payments will either be in the format of liquid virtual currency or real game cash. Now, I really like this because I've been playing games for a long time, and it's a very different model, but it also keeps your players around, right? Like, if you're not engaged, and a lot of like the only way you engage players in like a PS5 game or whatever Nintendo game is like you make more interesting content or new content updates. But if you're going to be paying people to play them, I think that obviously gives them a higher incentive to keep playing it, right? Like Axie reminds me of Pokemon, which Pokemon is crazy and huge and a huge phenomenon in its own way. But if you have Pokemon that also pays you, yeah, duh. Like, no wonder people are playing this stuff. And on top of that, you're in Africa and the Philippines where you freaking can make more than your real-time job. Like, you would be dumb to not be playing this. Like, so, good stuff. Play to earn game represents a new kind of internet-enabled job that is worth examining closer, given the massive youth unemployment, underemployment in Africa. I touched on that a little bit. But upon the end of the century, almost half of the young people in the world be sub-Saharan Africa today. Young people make up 60% of unemployed people in sub-Saharan Africa. What's more, 82% are working, are still vulnerable employee situations. It goes without saying, the ability to earn money by playing video games is an attractive proposition for more people in the continent. For the youth, this is one of the few areas where they have comparative advantage over the older people thanks to digital literacy and relative abundance over time. So, I don't know. I could keep talking, but we got the general idea. I've talked a lot, but it's honestly, it blows me away. Like, I knew a little bit about this, but this is awesome. Any thoughts?
Yeah, all I can say is untapped market. It's in the beginning of this article, it said 1 million users from I think it was like 50 to 30,000 to 1 million. It may seem like a lot. I mean, it's a big jump, but when you have billions of people in this world, like how many people play Super Mario? How many people play PlayStation? We're talking about billions of people. Like, we're not talking about millions. So it's still early for this game, and obviously they're going to come out with more games. Axie's going to come out with more games. More interesting. And other companies are going to get with the program and they're going to come up with games. So it's going to develop it a lot faster. And just the fact that you can get paid to play is genius. But once again, it comes down to who are the early adopters of this. You know what I mean? The early adopters that are playing right now, they're going to actually, they know the hacks, they know the strategies, they have a plan. So when you have when the masses join, they're gonna be they're gonna be the early adopters, so they will make the profit. Right. So what I'm saying is these guys right now, they're playing for $400, but come a year or two from now, they can be making $40,000 a month. Who knows? And that's the beautiful thing about it, is like these guys probably have no idea that they can make $40,000 or $4,000 a month instead of $400 a month, I think that might be I don't know if that's a week, but anyways. Oh, week or okay. Anyways, like let's just 10x this. Let's 10x this. That's for the Philippines or South Africa. That's like, you're like a doctor type of like salary at that point there, you know. They will be living like doctors or engineers or high educated people, but they're just sitting in their little room with their clothes everywhere and dirty underwear, and they're playing their game. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, like for example, if my kid was like, I don't want to go to college, I want to be a gamer, or I want to be, NFT, designer or creator or something like that, I'd be like, okay, well, what are you doing compared to all the other millions of people that are trying to do the same thing?
Right.
Well, these guys are the best of the million people.
Right.
Because I don't think a million people are getting paid $400 a week or a month.
Yeah.
We're talking about the top tier. We're talking about like.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
dude.
think so. I think
No.
that's semi-average.
Nah, dude. I think
you have to put the time in, but you have to think about it as a normal job.
Well, yeah,
was it 30
exactly.
to 50 hours?
Exactly.
I don't think that's unreasonable. If you're getting paid for way more than the job cooking rice or selling rice.
I know, exactly. I get what you're saying right now. Yeah, they do have a lot of downtime. Obviously, like they can be like, all right, I'm gonna go to work, or they have this person yell at me and probably fire me because I didn't do something right, or I can just sit here on my phone and make the same amount of money. And I get that. I get that.
More.
I understand.
Twice the minimum wage.
I understand that. But from my experience is like from the same thing, Veve, same thing, same exact thing, dude. Except instead of gaming, we're talking about collectibles.
Yeah.
And they could be making $400 a month. But what happens when it becomes 10 million people? Are they really going to be making $400 a month, or is it going to dilute by the population? And they're going to be, it's going to be harder for them to make money. It's going to be harder for them to level up. It's going to be, so that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing right now. It's amazing. But what happens when the masses come and you have talented people that dilute the market? And are they really? Because trust me, like I used to get collectibles like on every drop.
Right.
And now I'm like,
starving.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm like, I try to get the drop.
Sell out within 5 seconds?
No, milliseconds. Right. So we're talking about a millisecond, like a blink, gone.
Worse than 1 inch.
Yeah. Worse than 1 inch, worse than a milli inch. You know what I mean? Like, it's rough. And it's really luck at that point. It's like a lottery system. Yeah. And so I kind of see where the future is going in this, and I appreciate it. They're making money. I'm happy for them right now. All I got to say is enjoy it. Yeah. Because this, if you're not the elite at this, if you don't have hacks, you don't have shortcuts, if you don't have strategies, it will not last. And that's the same thing with my drops. If you don't have strategies, hacks, or anything, or bots, or whatever you want to call it, it's not going to last, man. And bots are frowned upon.
I agree with you, and I respectfully disagree in the sense that I don't have enough information to know. Right. So Axie seems like it's a bigger economy. It's like building out where a lot of people are playing. And it's inclusive because you have to like keep buying from other people, where Veve is like there's only 500 mints and millions, like you said, 30, 50,000 people to a million. Well, of course it's going to be harder to get. So this game isn't necessarily the money. I don't think comes from the scarcity, right? And the lower drop amount, where I think it's a little bit more flexible. You are right, though. I mean, the more people get into it and you get like, big time YouTubers that like, oh, let me just try out Axie Infinity, and they get, 10 million hits and all these people are playing it, and they get like a whole team to like help and support them. And they can be on 24 hours a day because they got like management teams. Like, yeah, they're going to do really well, and they're going to do better than people that are competitive right now in other parts of the world. Right. And so I see where you're going with that, and it might be true, but there's the variables and the economy is slightly different. So I'm not convinced, but I do like your point, and I see what you're saying. So I just think it's really cool, and once again, savvy investors, smart people are going to be looking at the other games that are going to be built out in this next 1 to 5 years and going, okay, cool. I did this. I did really well. Where can I do this next? Because there is going to be new opportunity and stuff. So regardless, I think we love to see this. I think it's really cool. Happy to see that people are, able to do better for themselves in some capacity. It's wild. Like regardless, it's a wild time to be alive, right? You got people playing video games for a living. Also, I was going to make the point that like Veve, it's like, yeah, you're flipping and trading like comic books. However engaging that is, I'd much rather be playing a Pokemon type game. I think I'm a little more engaged than like, let me go on a forum and trade coins and crystals and you know, like it's cool if you like flipping stuff, but much people would rather fight a video game battle, level up a character and trade and like have a team, right? I don't know. I played Pokemon growing up. I don't play it now, but I would rather do that than be flipping stocks or NFTs, right? Like it's more fun. And so I can see why people would be on here from, 20 to 60 hours a week. It's actually fun as opposed to just like, let me buy this thing and find somebody else to sell it to, right? So it has a little bit more trying to find the word mental engagement.
Addiction.
Entertainment value. So it's going to be scary when these games get very addictive and they pay out well, because it's like, dude, people they forget to sleep, they're never off their phone. I mean, you see people on World of Warcraft, they're on there for like a couple days in a row. Like, you don't want this for that. It's paying them too. We're in trouble. All your endorphins and serotonin are gone. So it'll be interesting. And a lot of games are developing, and that's why, couple podcasts ago we talked about like crypto coins and gaming crypto coins have gone up in value a lot because they're building stuff like this, and this is one of the biggest examples of like a really good successful game. And they're not all like that, but you can go on and do your own research and be like, okay, there is some other cool stuff and people are developing interesting things. Go around and see, oh, wow, this is only the first month in, and they're not just selling me promises. They're actually making a product, and this is where I can make money. Like, I guarantee you that's out there. So if you want something to do, you want something to invest, there you go. You're welcome. So it's out there for sure. So kind of to wrap back around to like the whole metaverse, whatever argument. Metaverse is cool, whatever, but I see NFTs and no practical fun games to play, and maybe that will change eventually. Now we have these games and sandbox and stuff, and like way more interesting, way more engaging, and they're doing stuff. Metaverse, what I can walk around and put clothes on, whatever. Okay, cool. I haven't looked a ton into it, but from what I understand, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot to look into. So eventually when we get to that point and they have games and they're built out in a more fleshed out way and something actually compelling, we can have that conversation. But it's not there yet, and it's super new. People are on the hype train, falling off the cliff, no idea what they're talking about, as a lot of people in markets have no idea what they're talking about. So yeah, I think meta will get there eventually. I think it'll be a fun time, but yeah, any more thoughts? Finish up.
No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I was just giving the other aspect of it, like, because I've seen it, I've experienced it, and
sure.
and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's amazing, it's cool. Like, I'm one of the first adopters of this, and all of a sudden, you're overwhelmed with the growth. You know what I mean? And you're like, what happened? Like, I was on my way to be like, gotta catch them all type of thing. You know what I mean? Gotta build it, gotta game it, whatever you want to call it.
Was it for the first 3 months? It was easier.
Yeah, it was like 3 to 5 months. It was super easy. Like, I would log in, and I mean, they would go on sale, and I would just buy them all. Like, I would just be like, buy, got them. You know what I mean? And now it's like,
Veve comics.
Yeah, no, it was before comics. Comics wasn't even a thought at that point. It was just pretty much statues and collectibles, like art.
I just want to clarify.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. And it was like, like the DeLorean. Like, I bought all the DeLoreans. There's three of them. Yeah. I bought them all bam, done. You know what I mean? And they were still available in the market. Now it's like scarce, bro. It's like you blink and you're like,
right.
Like, or even if you're there and you hit the button, like, just that millisecond off, like,
it's funny.
It's crazy.
It's funny because I can relate, because when I first started getting a beer 2016, 2017 with my friends, I mean, I didn't do this a lot, but I was a little bit aware that they had crazy, like, super rare beer drops or stuff that's aged for, 10 months to like whatever, 40 months and something crazy and this and that. And it's like, yeah, you go onto the website or like Eventbrite, they do drops, and it's like it would sell out in half a second.
Yep.
And like thousands of people just getting kicked out. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do it a lot, but I did a little bit, or I listened to my friends like, whine and get upset about it and get triggered. So I understand the principle, and when stuff is in high demand, and I mean, man, you can probably make a lot more comic books and statues, digital collectibles, than you can beers in casks. There's not that much of them. So especially when people are hyped on your product, right? Like, it really depends on demand, right? Like for beers, like they could sell 5,000, but they could sell all those in a half a second if they love their stuff. And so I was talking about the last beer review, the Bottle Logic. Bottle Logic was insane for a long time, and they didn't really make that much, and like that stuff would sell instantly. So I can understand in that sense, and yeah, it's a wild time.
Yeah, and these games, like Alex said, these games are gonna evolve, and they're gonna be metaverse, and they're gonna have VR capabilities, and yeah, it's gonna get there. If we want it or not, it's gonna get there.
100%.
I think what is gonna differentiate Axie Infinity and any other gaming company, it's gonna be their IP. Yeah. Who can get Pokemon? Who can get Marvel? Who can get these companies and their characters?
That's really good.
Yeah, you can get your own thing too, but that'll take time and process. But you won't get the masses that way. You'll build the masses that way, but you won't. Yeah, but you will not get the masses overnight, and that's what they want. They want to get the masses in first, and then they want to sell you on what they got, and I think that's the point. I think that's the way I would market it. Anyways, I'd be like, hey, who can we get that's gonna like advertise us? Like Pokemon, Marvel, Disney. What else is out there that's huge? And I want them. And then once they come in, they can't get them because they sold out. Guess what? I got my own edition. You know what I mean? And here you go. Sure. And you force feed them that. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on that. I mean, I'm not saying this is gonna happen.
I completely agree with you, and I understand wanting to market to broad appeal of things that people already understand. But I also think there's like 500 to 1,000 companies that are making compelling, interesting new products. People make new video games all the time. I just feel like inevitably one of those, or 5 of those, have to hit on just gold to feel like, dude, you made something amazing. And people are gonna like it because it's quality and it's awesome, and it's like, it just has to happen out of thousands of people that are making something in the next couple of years. Are you kidding me? Of course, it's gonna be a thing, and people see the potential in the space that drives the demand to make a good product. So, and then we already have it actually with like a pretty cool business model where I could see that people are definitely going to at least replicate parts and aspects and mechanics of okay, you got to buy something from somebody else already in in the game, to continue demand, to hook players, to keep them going, to make them money and stuff. So it's a really cool model. I really like that. But there's no way that people aren't going to be copying that aspects, at least, so to keep them in the game and engaged. So, man, I mean, the one thing that I get concerned about is games are insidious and nefarious, and how addicted they can be. I mean, can you imagine I don't know if I said this earlier, but I was thinking about World of Warcraft. Yeah, I think I did. What the heck? You find something like that level of addiction, like all these people are playing are in trouble, man. So,
yeah, and I'm not familiar with World of Warcraft. I did play StarCraft and Warcraft Brood War, but that was before this next level tier of leveling up NFT style. I think what Infinity Nexium should have, and I don't know if they do have this because I don't know anything about them, but kind of like a master gamer program, you know what I mean, where like you can level up and get exclusive items, offer them exclusive deals where they can get something that not an average person can get. And I think it would create more of a scarcity there for them, you know what I mean? Like because I know, I mean, like you said, they can have campaigns and they can have like 10 people that rotate 8-hour shifts and to level up. But what if you have oh, well, they've been here for 3 years and they've specialized in this one aspect of the game. Why not reward that one aspect of the game? Then that aspect of the game will have something else for them, and it will create some kind of scarcity in between both of them and challenging. And that, I think that would make it more 3-dimensional than just like, let's just go there and collect and mine and build and level up. and everyone's the same. When we can make like sections of the World of Warcraft, don't they have something like that where like you can be like a like a like a builder or knight or org or something like that?
Yeah,
and then,
you have different classes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you build classes within the game, so you can have different classes of tribes or groups or whatever, and make it more challenging, not just like straight up just like let's just build and mine and gather gold and level up type of thing. Like,
interesting.
I think that's what would bring another tier to the game.
I've actually never played WoW either, which is a selling point, and I'm a little proud of that. I played for like maybe 2 hours just to check it out. It was like a free account. But I do know about WoW is they have an online auction house, right? And so you can trade and sell items either for like in-game currency, goods, assets, whatever, and then also real money. At least I know that was at one point. I don't know how much they've changed. But the idea is I can see also if you have like incentive program, if you've been around, then you can do certain quests to unlock certain things. But then at the end of the day, also, if you can drop those into the auction house, you can kind of slowly drip feed those into all the new players. It's like, hey, if you want this, it's super rare and it's hard to get. We're going to put it on the online auction house. So it's like it's sold at a very high premium. That way it's still available, but the people that can only get it were the ones that have been around for a long time and able to earn it or buy it or trade or do some crazy thing to be able to get it. I think that's a cool way to do it. Every game is a little bit different. Diablo 3 got like absolutely hammered for their auction house and it made the game worse. So I think you really have to look at the game and see what is best for the game individual basis. But I think a game like this would be tailored well to something like that. Knowing games, the caveat I would have is make sure those items are still fair. Because if you make stuff that's like pay to win or pay to be around for 5 years, people are not going to interest in your game because they feel like it's boring and, the people that have been around for a long time or that can pay the most money can beat everybody else. And I agree with that game logic. It makes it disingenuous and it's boring. So, but yeah, if you can finally find some way to like put it on the market, like leak it out, make it tradable between all the players, I think that's like a pretty cool way to do it. So once again, we haven't looked a lot into these games, and we do like them. We love the not only theoretical potential, but the practical, like what it's already doing. So I don't know. That's why we like crypto. There's so many cool things that are happening. There's no way you can check it all out. So you can just kind of be aware, and that's why we're bringing it to you. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, man. It's a whole new world. It's developing. It's growing fast, actually. And I'm actually really interested to see, like, well, you and I are talking about it, but we're very deep in the space. But people that have no idea what's going on right now, and they just wake up one day and they're like, what is this? Oh, this has been going on for 5 years already. What are you talking about? They're like, what? They've been living under a rock, dude. I can't imagine what kind of shock that's going to be to them.
You don't need it. Like, you don't need crypto, but once you see crypto, it's like it's changing Africa and the Philippines. Like, wait a second. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, as like an American, as an American every day, like, I don't need crypto if I have a job. But then you get into the rabbit hole, you're like, wait a second. This has been around. Like, Bitcoin's been around since 2009, and then probably not really adopted much till 2015 or something like that to a very small amount of people. So, but yeah, their brain will explode. Inception, Matrix levels.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's insane. I just can't. I wake up every day and I'm just like, what's gonna happen now? Like, what are these people doing? What are these developers? What are these billionaires investing in? I mean, you have famous influencers on YouTube going out there talking about NFTs, talking about gaming, talking about like, oh, this is the next big thing. This is like the next thing to slice bread. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the next level. Like, you thought that internet was big. This is going to be huge. And I'm like, in my head, I'm just sitting there thinking like, what can be bigger than the internet? What can be bigger than this? Like, I mean, the only thing that could be bigger than that would be like living in this other world that's you're in the same world. You're not in a different planet, but your mind is in another world virtually. Yep, freaking Matrix style. Keanu Reeves, you're in there freaking plugged into the Matrix, and you're just you're in the pod, and you're just in there you're just in there just twitching the whole time because you're like in there battling people and stuff, and like. Is that what it's gonna come to?
I hope I'm not.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Is it gonna come to the Matrix, or is it gonna come to like Ready Player One? I think Ready Player One is more of a Steven Spielberg type of like Back to the Future look on the world, and Back to the Future was very over dramatized. I think, like, you know what I mean. Like if you look at it, flying cars, we don't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Headsets seem like they're going to be involved.
They had VR. They had VR in Back to the Future 2. They had VR, but we don't have that yet. It's one of those things like where like he was like 50% right. You know, I mean, we have microwaves, instant food. You can order. You get the news instantly through social media. You can video chat, FaceTime people, like that's true. You can get messages instantaneously, email, you can order food. There's some other things that were like, all right, bro, like we messed up somewhere in this journey because we didn't follow your blueprint, in the movie. Like, where are the flying cars? I want my hoverboard, you know what I mean? I don't want that shitty fucking 2-wheel thing that I almost fell and cracked my head open on. I want something I can float on, you know what I mean?
I still want to order my freaking North Korean wife.
Yeah, and Alex wants his North Korean wife, and he does not want his Cardano to be ripped off by some North Korean kid sitting in his boxers in his room right now.
My BTC and Cardano
he wants his wife, and he does not want to be surprised 9 months later.
Amen. Well, this has been an interesting night for sure, but it is interesting. Like the final form of humanity, like. Elon Musk talks about like sticking something in your head to have Neuralink. I don't think a lot of people want to stick something in their head, but I feel like VR becomes a novelty at some point, and maybe people just use it more and more every day. I really don't know. It doesn't really make sense. It seems like you'd have VR just displayed up like on a corner of your house or your garage or whatever, right? Like that you can kind of like hang out in, right? Like nobody's gonna put on a headset for like 12 hours a day, but maybe you put in contacts or you do something. I don't know. Like most people don't want to stick some needle in their head, right? Like, so I don't know where this is going, but it's definitely going somewhere, and there's stuff happening, right? Like I don't know if we're getting to the Jetsons. I don't think we're getting flying cars, but needless to say, we are definitely getting more and more involved in another world, internet, whatever, and that's really undeniable. So we'll see where we go. And crypto is definitely a huge part of it, right? I don't know. We got anything else tonight? I think we went on the longest tangent possible.
I'm not done yet. No, I have more to say, America, or the world. Actually, America. We're on the World Wide Web here. We're on the WWW. Let's end the night though, because
was a long one.
There's a lot to say about it and everything, but
it was fun.
But yeah, going back to the Future and everything, like yeah. I mean, if it was like if I would go to sleep tonight and I would dream about Back to the Future and I'd wake up the next day, I'd be like, damn, that was pretty close. Like that dream was like that. I feel like that dream's like 10 years away.
Not too far off.
Yeah, not too far off. Exactly. It's not too far off. You know what I mean? We have drones. I mean, he only missed the flying cars, dude. That's like the only thing he missed, man.
I saw some hilarious article, and I actually had friends and family telling me about, Uber's going to land on your roof. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you stupid? Like, why would Uber land on your roof? It's like going to damage your roof, and then what, you walk through the window? Like who wrote this article, and who believed them? Like,
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I would have them land on my driveway. That's what a driveway is for. If they can land on a roof, they can land on a driveway. I mean, it's not an issue. But anyways,
who doesn't have the brain cells for this conversation?
Exactly. You'd be surprised. You know what I mean? Yeah. You'd be surprised.
I would.
But yeah, crypto is going to be the asset that fuels all this technology. It's going to be the currency that just unites the world. And it might not be the only currency, but it will be the world currency. Catalyst to it will bring all the languages into one, all the nations into one. It might not be one cryptocurrency, it might be several, but in the end, it all goes through a ledger and it's all electronic. It's all make believe in the air. You know what I mean? Magical, pixie dust. You know what I mean? And, this journey is crazy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing these podcasts, 5-10 years from now and be like, damn, we're talking craziness. But like, it really happened, though. It really happened.
You can't just teleport yet. Like, yeah. We're doing Back to the Future 7. What are you talking about, bruh?
You didn't get my hologram message?
Yeah. Dude, I already sent you a wife.
It's a hologram.
Yeah. So anything is possible. Maybe we'll leave it at that. Anything is definitely possible. Who really knows what the metaverse and like living online? And I mean, people are already playing Axie Infinity to live instead of going to a job. So that's already super significant to me, right? That's crazy. So I think that's it. I think we're done. I think that was quite a conversation. So who knows where we're going next in the next 2 to 5 years. It's anybody's guess, but all we can do is watch the market and try to make some good investments. So that's what we're here to do, and that's what we're talking to you about. So have a good night. It's been 2 Dudes, 1 Garage.
Yep.
And
see you next time on 2 Dudes, 1 Garage.
There you go.
Peace out.
Have a good one.